Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Tarot by Bronx. This is Tarot Talk. These are Tarot Tings, and I'm your host, Boogie. Boogie down Bronx, and I'm here to take care of the Leo. Big Leo. Happy Leo season. Leo, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This reading can resonate for you if you have Leo as a sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node, or south node sign. First, quick shout out to my Patreon. This reading was released early access on Patreon, as well as shout out to my Leo shirt. I will link it in the description box, but it's also on my Etsy. That can be found in my link tree. All right, before we get into your reading, before we get into a multitude of things, new energy, Venus retrograde, Leo season, I just want to have a quick moment of transparency and vulnerability with you guys. So if you see like my content is getting a little bit slower, well, for one, I am working on a human design workshop that's going to be taking up a bulk of my energy. But I deal with some chronic illnesses, you guys, and I've talked to you guys about this a little bit in the past. I have lupus, as well as I have something called SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And so it's kind of like IBS, but worse. So if you know what IBS is, you know how sucky that is. Imagine that, but like kind of a little worse. So both of those things, SIBO can be cured, but it's very, 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 very difficult. Lupus is something that people say can't be cured, but I kind of don't agree with that. So it's just a matter of me figuring out what's working for me, trying these new diets, trying to get healthier. And through this process, I'm a lot more tired. My energy's low because I can't eat certain things. Just trying to take care of myself. So if you see my content is not as frequent, or it's like maybe I'm taking a longer break or period between posting on Patreon or on my YouTube video, just understand I'm dealing with a whole lot behind the scenes that you guys can't see, because physically I may look fine to you, but I have just enough energy to get my work done, and then I'm pretty much like checking out and just chilling and trying to feel good. So with all that being said, I ask for compassion, I ask for prayers, I ask for patience, I ask for grace and understanding, because I still have a job to do. I still love doing these readings for you guys. I love my work, and I have to work to survive. So I can't stop. But I have been prioritizing taking longer time to rest, doing other types of passive income, or, doing larger types of work like these workshops. So if you could sign up to my workshop, that would also be a big help for me, as I'm trying to disperse my energy a lot more wisely during this time where I haven't been doing the best for the last at least 3 months now. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you listening and showing me love. Now, to get into the readings. Also, before I even get into that, if you guys see anybody being nasty under my videos after I just told you guys what's going on with me, please cuss them out. Please check them, because I can't check everybody. But, for people that are nasty, just, handle that for me, please. Have my back. All right, but yeah, we just got into Venus retrograde as well as Leo season. What a great combination, right? So with that being said, there is an emphasis on love, but more so a lot more self-love. So with Venus retrogrades, you might find a lot of the love is turned inward, or there's a reflection of where you are not showing yourself enough love. There's likely to be a lot more insecurities that are coming up for you. So if you feel more insecure, if you feel less lovable, if you feel like loving less or showing less love to other people, or maybe like you're not feeling as confident as you normally would, that is completely normal for this energy that we're in right now. Now, let's get into what the blunt truth is, what you need to hear for this Venus retrograde, Leo. What is the blunt truth that Leo needs to hear? What is the blunt truth that Leo needs to hear? Honor your boundaries. I didn't do the pre-shuffle, sorry. I love you for free. Can we clarify I love you for free? Oops. Can we clarify I love you for free? Mental health check. Okay, so the thing is that let me scoot up. The thing is where I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect, especially during this time frame with Venus retrograde, is like you're trying to find balance between honoring your boundaries, right? setting this boundary, sticking to your boundary, which can be kind of difficult for Leo because Leos care a lot about people. I know Leo energy very well. I have a lot of Leos I grew up with and around me. Leos care a lot about people, have really big hearts, and it's hard for Leos to tell people no. It's hard for Leos to see people upset or mad because a lot of the times you take it very personally if people are upset with you and you feel like it's an attack on you, who you are and your character. But you have to understand other people's feelings are not your responsibility. Other people's feelings are not to be micromanaged. Feelings do not equal facts. Just because somebody feels like you're a bad person because you didn't show up for them, that does not mean that is true. It does not mean you are a bad person, okay? So, it's about separating the two. And then you have I love you for free. And then honor your boundaries. There's a conflict here because giving love freely, right? It doesn't mean that there's also a lack of boundaries. Like, you have a boundary of how much you're able to give. Everybody has a capacity. And during this Venus retrograde, this is where you're going to figure out what is my capacity to give love freely. Giving love freely does not mean there are no boundaries. There's no bounds. I'm just giving and I'm suffering. Mental health check. It doesn't mean I'm giving and I'm struggling. I'm giving my last dime and I have nothing left and they have everything. That is not the right thing to do. And so if you have been doing things like that, you've been giving all your energy, all your time, all your resources away to people, and you're not getting anything back in return. And this is not to say you need to always expect something in return, but you should expect some things eventually. Maybe not something specific in return, but like you should have an expectation that if you're giving to people, that they should also be giving back to you in some way, shape, or form at some point. And if you find that there's a reputation for not giving back to you, then that is an issue, that is a problem, and that is at the expense of your mental health that you will be suffering. Okay, so that is where we are kind of at a crossroads here, and we're learning. We're learning with Venus retrograde. What are our limitations? What is our capacity to love, to give, and to receive? All right, so what is the shadow work for Leo at this time? What card is the shadow work? What's hidden from Leo? Wait, I don't know if that was meant to come out. What is the shadow work? What is hidden from Leo at this time? The Hangman in reverse. Hangman is about sacrifice. Now, in reverse, let me see. The Hangman. The Hangman represents knowing sacrifice when we realize we must accept a short-term difficulty for a long-term gain. The Hangman archetype, showing us the importance of devotion, surrender, and sacrifice. Forgiveness is also important with this card. Reversed, helplessness, impatience, confusion, and selfishness. Selfishness. Interesting. So listen to this. This is something I just heard because I was thinking about selfishness. Is the way you're giving to people, could it actually be more self-serving? Think about it, because sometimes we are giving with the expectation of gaining something in return, not just giving freely. So there's so many nuances to what I've been saying thus far. Like, it could be one of those things where you have to be more aware and observant of why you're giving. Why? What is your why? Why do you want to give to this person? Is it truly just because you love them? Is it truly just because you care? Or are you expecting something specific back in return? Are you expecting recognition? Are you expecting, because you're giving somebody to love you back, right? Are you giving these gifts to also receive some gifts back? Why are you giving to these people? Why are you giving everything away? What are you expecting in return? There's a disconnect there for your reason why you're giving to people and what you're expecting. Okay. So once you can understand why you give or why you go above and beyond, right? Because sometimes we also take it to the next level where we just give so much so fast to people and we give it all and then we get resentful when they don't give it back to us. But there's a question of what were you trying to gain from that? And who told you that you had to give that much, that quickly? think about it. Really think about that. Like, it's not a trick question. It's not to make you upset. It is literally to think about your reasoning for why you approach certain people the way you do, or what expectations you're placing on them. What expectations are they placing on you? Everything is a mirror. So everything that you do to other people, or everything that other people do to you, everything's a reflection. So you have to always look at it from two sides. And I know that can be a little bit difficult, but think about what I'm saying, y'all. Think about it. All right. So where does Leo possibly need to place more boundaries, or be more discerning about their boundaries surrounding giving and love and relationships and all these things that Venus represents? Where does Leo need to be more discerning and observant surrounding their boundaries? Family or family issues, hidden enemy. Where does Leo need to be more observant about their boundaries? Happiness, stable. Okay. So the main one standing out to me here, you have family or family issues. You got some names here as well. This could be names and your family members or other people that you're dealing with here. Letters in name R, K, I, or J, and then letters in name A, S, H, L, or N. Okay. Some of you are having a hard time, or you struggle with saying no. You have a hard time standing in your no. And sometimes it's not safe to say no, but this is like, if majority of the time you struggle to tell people no, and you're just always like very lenient, and you're very like letting people do whatever, what is the worst that can happen if you say no? Let's think about the worst case scenario. You'll lose them as a friend, or you'll lose them. They'll be mad at you. That's the worst. Okay. Sit with that. Like, if somebody's so willing to throw you away, discard you for you just saying no, is that even somebody that you would want in your life? That is not stable. That is living in scarcity. You're living in fear of disappointing this person, because if you say no, they're going to abandon you or they're going to reject you. That is living in this survival mode with an energy, and there's no way you can ever be comfortable with that person, because you know that it's always going to depend on your willingness to show up. And so that can be something that is very much hurting you. Hidden enemy. This could be somebody that you're not even considering, right? But once you start saying no, you'll start to figure out who these people are, and a lot of them are in your family. I see Leos struggle a lot with their family members. People put a lot of pressure on Leos to always get it right, to always show up, to always be there, to always be the happiness, the life of the party, right? And so a lot of you guys do go out of your way to reach out to people, to continue to show up. They won't reach out. Like, some of you have this fear. What's the worst that can happen if you don't text somebody first? They won't reach out to you. Okay? Well, why would you want somebody around you that never reaches out anyway? So there's a lot of things being revealed to you guys right now, Leo, about where there's imbalances, where you have been going above and beyond, and it is hurting you. Ultimately, it's stressing you out in ways that you're not even realizing. It is really stifling you. And when you just stop doing these things, when you stop reaching out, when you stop going above and beyond, when you stop checking in, when you start saying no, you'll start to see a shift in people's energy, and you'll start to see, wow, a lot of these people never really had my best interests at heart. They never really had my back like that. And that will hurt. That'll hurt you. That'll hurt your pride. But the thing about it is they really only liked you for what you could give to them, not for who you were, because people that really like you for who you are, they don't want anything from you, right? They are happy to have it, but they don't need it. They don't need it. And a lot of the people around you have been very needy of you and your time and your money and your car, right? For some of you. And this is something that you'll be really seeing over the next few months while Venus is retrograde in your sign. You have to understand that these are users, and it'll hurt, because you're like, dang, it'll make you start to think you're not worth more than just what you have, but you are. And you have to start showing people that, And you have to start showing the right people who want to just be around you. They don't want anything from you. Allow those people in. Now, what is the advice for Leo? What is the advice for Leo with this energy? What is the advice for Leo with this energy? What is the advice? What is the advice for Leo with this energy? I see some of you leaving a job where they don't appreciate you at this job. You know, they only just use you. And so a lot of you are going to be pouring more into yourself because you have job loss or decrease. So I see a lot of you leaving this, maybe going back to school even. You have student, learning something new, starting your own business, doing your own thing, pouring into yourself, blessing in disguise, where you're seeing these people are just draining me. They're not actually helping me, right? It could be an air sign that is either draining you or that you will be learning to move towards and learning more from. Time apart and rest. So this is the advice: to separate yourself. Step back, stop reaching out, stop going above and beyond, stop answering the phone, stop. And see, all you have to do, look, at the bottom of this deck, it says shut up and listen. All you have to do is just watch. All you have to do is just observe. When you stop doing what you've been doing, when you stop going above and beyond for people, when you stop reaching out to people, when you stop letting people walk all over you, when you stop letting people take advantage of you, just watch how people respond, and it will tell you everything you need to know. It'll tell you what new boundaries you need to set with these people, where you need to have them in your life, who you need to bring closer to you when you're establishing these new boundaries. People will show you that they have either only been using you, they only care about what you have been offering because they know you never say no. Leo never says no, so I know I can always ask Leo. Leo gives me whatever I want. Your why. Why have you been doing this? Have you cared so much about people still liking you? So that's why you continue to give to them, because you want them to always be happy. You want to always be in their good graces. You want to always be liked. Because if you didn't care, you would say no. You wouldn't care if they were mad at you. Because if somebody's mad at you and you're feeling good in your self-worth, you're like, oh, that doesn't mean that I'm bad. That doesn't mean that I'm not a good person. That doesn't mean that I'm not likable. But if you care, or on a subconscious level, you crave validation from people, telling them no will always be very gut-wrenching if their response isn't good, right? If they stop liking you for that, it hurts your ego. So all that to say, that's about reflecting on the relationship you have with yourself. Why do you care so much? If somebody's mad at you, what is that triggering within you? If you say no and somebody doesn't like it, is it guilt? Is it shame? Like, what is that? You know, digging deeper and rebuilding that relationship you have with yourself. So it's like you people like you. People like you. Leo's a very likable sign. But unfortunately, people do not respect you. And I know this is probably really hitting in the gut. It's hard to hear. Being liked and being respected are two completely different things. If you are likable, sometimes you are not respected. If you have no boundaries, people will never respect you. So that is where it's showing up for you here. It's like you need to set these boundaries. You need to not give it all away for free all the time. You know, start charging more. Start charging, period. Like, you need to use my car. Give me some gas money. You know, you've been letting people get away free for too long. Too long. And who cares if they don't like you anymore? Do you like yourself? If you don't, then we need to work on that. If you do, then who cares? Right? So it's about not just pretending to be confident during this retrograde. You're no longer pretending that you have it all together. You're no longer pretending that you don't care if people like you or not. You are actually going to believe it. You're going to start believing, I don't care if people like me or not. I like me. Right? I don't care if people get mad at my boundaries. And you're going to actually mean it. You're actually going to believe it. All right. So what is the advice, last bit of advice for Leo that they need to surrender at this time? Surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. that you are too much for people, that you need to always be in people's good graces. What is your outdated belief? Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar into your life. And then surrender to success. You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. So everything is opening up for you here, Leo. But, you know, this is a new era for you where you're really seeing, do people really respect me? Do I respect me? Or do people just like me for what I've been giving them? Do people just like me because I'm easy access, because I'm usable? You know, people just like me because I don't have boundaries, because they can walk all over me, right? So these are all the relationships you're building more with yourself and, you know, building more with other people, seeing who really likes you, who really is there for you, who really respects you, who really appreciates you as a person. You know, if people just only want you for what you have, those are not your people. Even family. You need to set boundaries with your family too. I know that's the hardest. But start and you'll see, okay, I see that I need more boundaries with this person. I need to distance myself from this person. Let me know how that goes, okay? Thank you, Leo, for watching. If this reading resonated for you, please let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe so this channel can thrive. I am at Tarot by Bronx on everything.